So thanks. Corey from Sensibill. We're based out of the Ryerson Digital Media Zone, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the company and hopefully get to the topic of my presentation. So let me see if this works. Nope. Try to get too cute. This is what happens. Okay. So what we do at Sensibill is we try to solve the elusive problem of how to manage your receipts. And so as you can see, it's a problem often experienced by the busy, the overzealous, but certainly everyone from expense managing employees to accountants to even the everyday consumer that just needs to keep track of the receipts for returns and exchanges. So in the world of technology, people have come up with a number of solutions to help people manage their transaction receipts, paper that is. And so you've seen the emergence of these expense management applications. You're probably familiar with Expensify, maybe Neat, which has a cool receipt scanner. And then the world of email receipts came around, popularized by Apple, of course, but a lot of merchants, especially in the US, have started to take to this for the purposes of obviously mining and harvesting your email address for marketing. And so where this typically ends up, though, is your email inbox, typically your spam inbox. There are also some major merchants like Walmart, Anthropologie, that have started to offer these receipt management loyalty-like programs to help you access your receipts from those stores historically, but ultimately you can see this is a very fragmented and very chaotic space, as it were. And so what Sensibill does, we're going to go through this enterprise model again, the other side of it hopefully, but which is that we take all your receipts from any store you shop at and allow you to access them directly from your online banking account. So you can log into your TD mobile app, your TD online banking, EasyWeb, and be able to access your receipts automatically, organized, categorized, and directly in line with your transaction statement, your Visa statement, your checking account statement, and you'll be able to actually dig into the line item details, which I will show you here. So this is me clicking on a Home Depot receipt where I've been able to drill down on the details, actually get a lot of data-driven value-added services from that receipt, so you can see how long I have until my return policy expires. Much more rich descriptions of what I bought, so you're not reading like garbled, cryptic codes of the product, and it makes the experience a lot easier for consumers and businesses. So what I'd like to talk to you about is the importance of using your own product, and what we've learned. Obviously, it seems kind of obvious. Why wouldn't I use my own product? I, built this product to solve a problem, but sometimes people, startups especially, are guilty of it. Is they create a solution in search of a problem. And so what happens is they really don't know who they're selling to, or they really don't know what the utility is. They're just kind of spinning in circles. And that's obviously a big waste of time for everybody. So why using your own product is important? First is it focuses you as a company on solving your problem, not kind of eating your own bullshit and swirling around in this tornado of playing around with different types of solutions. The second is that it's a source of constant validation. So as you know, as a startup, or if you are an entrepreneur building a startup, you're constantly looking for validation points. You're looking for investors to give you money, customers hopefully to give you money, and your story to resonate with the right types of people. And so when you have your product, you're using your product, you're telling a more intimate personal story, not just to external sources, but obviously to recruit people that ultimately are going to join your team and build your company. Also, it makes your employees and the rest of your team be very involved in your test process. So hopefully you're recruiting people and you're finding people like-minded, you're trying to solve the same problem, you're passionate about solving the same problem, and anyone who's in IT or an engineer can tell you it's a lot more helpful for the crowd to identify your bugs and your issues and help you find solutions to them than just relying on your tech team to figure all this stuff out on the fly, like new features, etc. And the last point that I'm going to focus an anecdote on is it actually helps you uncover new use cases. So using your product, believe it or not, can help you figure out what else you can do with it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to me very recently. This is my Future Shop receipt that I got from using my own product. I bought a set of earphones. They're actually pretty good. So if you ever want to get a good set of earphones and don't have them, I bought these recently. I bought them for $69.99. But when I actually clicked on that item, the way our solution works is that you can actually click on one of the line items and it will take you to the catalog entry of that line item so you can see a richer description of the product, its tech specs, etc. I noticed that the price of the item went down to $59. It was on sale for $10. And so I said, well, I want my money back. So I went to Future Shop, I used my receipt, they gave me my money back on my product. So I said, well, this is interesting. It's pretty good to get money back from price corrections. So we actually used this idea, this actual experience, and built it as a feature in the app, whereby when a price reduction incident actually happens, you can get a push notification directly through this receipt to your banking app, or in our case, we use our own beta to help us test our product, and we've now added in this price correction, price matching feature in. So hopefully I hit on time. I've told you what I've had to say, and so that's an example of why using your product is really important. Hopefully you heed my advice, which will hopefully save you time, money, and a lot of stress in finding new customers. So thank you very, very much.
Question?
Excuse me. The question was, how do you get the data? So the first thing is we are able to take pictures of stray receipts from your taxi cab, although there's Uber now, and your Thai restaurant, et cetera. But we also collect data from email receipts. So a lot of merchants are sending this stuff. About 35 to 40% of merchants are in North America. We intercept that. The last way is a number of merchants that don't have email receipt, digital receipt capability have come to us for more proprietary direct integrations. So we get that as a data feed as well. Sure. Yes, so you're able to see, so like in your bank statement, the question was, do you actually line up the receipts to the credit card statement? So on your credit card statement, you'll typically see Home Depot, $38. So we'll have the total, we'll have the date of the transaction, we'll have the merchant, and we'll match that up directly. What we also allow for is a lot of low-level categorization, right? So you'll see Mint and Yodlee and all these different services try to help you with understanding what you're actually buying. We'll actually be able to do that at the item level. So when you go to Walmart, you'll know where that receipt should end up. Should it end up as a food shop, or should it end up as a electronics purchase? We help with that as well. Yes? Oh yeah, so the way we work is we are an enterprise sales company, which it is very difficult, and especially with banks, it can be very trying, but hey, you go big or go home sometimes, right? So yeah, we're working with, at some level, all the major banks. We have several integrations with the Canadian banks and starting to work with some of the US ones. Oh yeah, so the second part of the question I didn't get to. How do we make money? They pay us a fee. It's very similar to a lot of these seat cost licenses, where you pay, I guess, $100,000, let's say, for 50,000 users per year, and then each additional user they pay a user cost for. So if you're a bank like RBC, they've got 4.5 million users, and sort of they limit their risk by buying a certain batch, and we have the upside if more and more people adopt it. We integrate with any service like expense reporting, so Intuit products, FreshBook products, et cetera, that want to use our APIs to build this functionality into their application. So really one of our taglines was enabling receipt management services in places that people trust. There's not going to be a sensible app for receipts because, quite frankly, we feel that receipts are a feature of something bigger. And so, those types of applications tend to be very accommodating for those types of solutions. So think of us as Intel inside for receipts. Sensibill stores the transaction data. The user data, so your client data, always resides with the bank or whatever host application you signed up with. So the banks don't share your data because we really don't need it. They really perform the matching and they really provide the service to you. Your relationship is with the bank, not with Sensibill. Last question. Yes? Yeah, the barrier, it is hard to sell to banks. I mean, the point about enterprise sales cycles being long, arduous, and sometimes not paying off, that is very true, right? You could be in a 2-year sales cycle and nothing can happen, and you're like, well, what do I do now, right? So it's a great story that you're able to bail out early and pull your chute. It's a high barrier to entry. And the other thing is, you get into a bank, well, you're locked up for 5, 10 years. The banks have applications from the 1980s. I don't even know what the hell it does. Right? But all I know is they're paying this line item $12 million a year for it, so that seemed pretty interesting to me, and that's why we ended up doing work with banks.